Sheri, a big chunk of the work of recovery for the loved one, the partner of an alcoholic, is resentment processing, is dealing with the anger and the resentment for the bad stuff that takes place during active addiction.
And some of the reasons a loved one can't do resentment processing is the relationship ends or the addicted partner gets too defensive and they can't listen without it like traumatizing themselves.
Even when they're in sobriety, even well down the road into sobriety and recovery, sometimes we, the former alcoholic, doesn't do a very good job of listening and letting you, the partner, the loved one, the victim, do that resentment processing. It's really hard. But you're good at it. And I think I'm a decent listener. This whole idea of resentment processing. One thing that doesn't happen is if you just ignore it, it won't go away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not great at it. I had to learn.
Because you're a pusher downer.
Yeah, I just thought if we ignored it, it would go away.
Well, but now, all these years in, you've learned that processing the resentment, the anger, the frustration from events of the past, it is necessary. And you do a good job of it. So, because we know we've got viewers and listeners out there who aren't in that position where they can process resentments with their loved one, with their former alcoholic, for either of those two reasons you said, either they're not with that person anymore or that person just can't do it, you're going to act as a surrogate and do some resentment processing for people who don't have the opportunity to do that. You excited about that?
Sure, we'll give it a go.
Let's show people what it's like. I know if you've been a regular Untoxicated listener, you have heard us talk about Sheri's 40th birthday before, but believe it or not, we're going to talk about it again because it's a great example. We went away for Sheri's 40th birthday. It was a surprise for her. I arranged for babysitters for our kids. And I said babysitters, and that sounds weird. It sounds like we're raising Tasmanian devils that we had to have multiple babysitters. But it was it was teachers at their elementary school, and one of them did half the weekend and the other one did the other half. So there was a little handoff among friends. So I arranged for the babysitting situation, and I arranged for us to do stuff when we got into the mountains. We live here in Denver, Colorado. We went a little bit west for Sheri's 40th. I was anxious in traffic right away, heavy traffic heading into the mountains, and I was all about it. Pretty typical behavior for me, and I'm going to go further and say pretty typical male traffic behavior. For me, it was certainly because I was just revved up and raring to go to get the car parked at our destination so I could start drinking the many, many IPAs that I brought with us. But that anxiety, cursing and yelling and beating on the steering wheel and just creating an unsafe emotional environment for Sheri in the car. Not welcomed, was it?
It was not welcomed at all.
I also overscheduled us. I wanted to make sure that since I don't do gifts very well or very often, if I was going to arrange for a weekend, I was going to go all out and made sure that we had stuff to do every waking moment and some of the moments we should have been sleeping while we were in the mountains together. So I overscheduled us for sure. I brought beer everywhere we went, even to places where that was not necessarily appropriate. I remember I took a cooler with us on a gondola ride and nobody stopped us, but nobody else had a cooler of beer to ride up the gondola.
It was like a little soft-sided 6-pack or 3-pack cooler. Kind of, maybe they thought it was lunch. I mean, it looked like it could be lunch. I'm sure you probably chose that one because it could look like there was snacks or lunch in there and not necessarily. I think now, God, everywhere. I mean, this was a while ago.
This was definitely one of the things that I normalized. At the time, I was like, of course we're going to bring beer. We're on this long weekend vacation. But now I look back and I'm like, no, people just, people who don't have a drinking problem don't feel the need to have a 6-pack cooler with them everywhere they went. But so that's one of the things I did. I brought beer with us. We went on a hike and I brought beer it was an out and back. And, the out was like a waterfall or something. And I brought a beer or two with me to drink, to celebrate. We made it out to see the waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that really was a huge turn on for you. I wanted us to close bars. Hey, we don't have kid responsibilities and we're out at this bar. Let's stay out till, let's stay out. Let's be the last one to leave. Let's be like we're in our young 20s when we definitely were not anymore. And I was disappointed, to say the least, that you didn't get into all of the beer-centric drinking that I wanted all the events to be, focused on. And I was sad and disappointed that you didn't get into wild, carefree sex since we didn't have kid responsibilities. So that was my reaction to your birthday. Tell me about you. What was going on for you?
You missed my animation.
Do it again. Yeah. Shedding tears for I was not the birthday boy. It was not at all my birthday. It was
birthday.
Well, that's a great point. It was your gift. How did you feel about all of these things that I did to set the stage, set the tone?
Well, the frustration. I don't necessarily believe it was an anxiety. I think it was a frustration, and you were mad in the car because there was traffic, and you couldn't get where you wanted to go faster to start drinking. So I immediately felt like, oh, I guess sitting in the car with me is so fucking horrible. So I even tried to I remember saying well, we have time to chat and catch up. We don't have to worry about kids because that was a while ago, and I think our youngest was 1. So I was like, yeah, we don't have to worry about 4 kids, from ages 8.5 to 1 years old in the car being annoyed that we're sitting in traffic. It's just you and I. So what's the worst that's going to happen? We can have a conversation. We can chat. We can sing to the songs on the radio, whatever. So I think when I saw that there was just no comfort in it just being you and I, that I started getting really prickly about things. I could, well, maybe prickly is not the right word. Hair on the back of my neck stood up. I just, spidey senses were going off. Ugh.
Spidey senses, that's good. Yeah. I think it set the tone for what was coming.
Yeah, and it didn't make me feel very attracted because it made me feel dismissed and disrespected. Why would I want to spend time with you? I really just want to start drinking. So, and then we put our stuff at the place we were staying, and then we went in and we had a nice dinner at a restaurant. Now, it was summer, late summer. It wasn't cold by any means, but it was cooler in the mountains. And so I remember asking for a decaf coffee to go with dessert. And of course, I'm sure you had some sort of aperitif or sweet liqueur at the end. And I think that I accidentally got regular coffee because we got back and I was awake, but I was not into sex because I didn't feel attracted to you. I didn't want to drink. Even though we were away and we had babysitters, we were still within driving distance of an emergency. So my guard wasn't completely let down.
And I didn't understand that.
We're a plane right away. We couldn't get there. That wasn't going through my mind. Also, then the next day you had surprised me and we had mimosas on the porch, and I felt like that was a really nice thing to do. We could just relax. This wasn't when I was so annoyed with drinking whenever I was consuming. So the mimosas were great, and then you were like, come on, let's go, we get to do this. And I felt gosh, again, dismissed. I mean, I wanted to sit here and relax. We have 4 kids. At that time we had 4 locations of our bakery. What the fuck? I just want to relax, and you had no idea what I wanted. You didn't even ask. It wasn't even considered what I wanted or needed or would have desired, because you had your own agenda and you only thought about what you wanted to do. So we went on this hike. We grumbled and growled about it and getting food packed for a snack, and you wanted to make sure you had your beer, so our sandwiches were squished, and then we got back and you're like, we're gonna go do this and this and this and this. It was just constant go, and everywhere I turned was alcohol. And an argument ensued that Saturday night. We didn't really get into much of an argument Friday. Saturday night, and it was loud and annoying and rude and disrespectful because you were drinking, and they did have a little bus tram thing, so we didn't have to worry about getting back to our condo by using the car. So that just meant that was just free consumption for you. And I had no interest in talking to anybody that was drunk and at the bar because you were trying to make friends since I was not happy.
So you said along the way that you really just wanted to sit on the patio at the condo and just talk and enjoy the day and enjoy each other's company.
We're not talking.
Did you ever have an opportunity to share that desire?
No. I mean, I think I said to you, well, why can't we just stay here for a little bit when we were drinking the mimosas on the back patio? Well, we've got this, we're going to go on this hike. Well, all right. And I was trying to play along and accommodate and be pleasant because you had planned this. So, I mean, for me at the time, and I think the relationship, all I could do was try to accommodate because I got so used to being accommodating to everybody that I felt like, okay, well, this is what we do. Yep, sure. Sheri gets, gets the raw end of the stick again. So I guess I was just so used to that by this point in our relationship that arguing or wanting to express myself wasn't an option. And I'm sure that I was also worried if I said I just wanted to stay here and relax, you'd be like thinking, oh, relax in bed and let's have sex because that's relaxing. Because then you would have just had sex and passed out and then I would have been by myself.
Did you feel extra like stung? I mean, you said you were used to being accommodating by them, but was it extra painful since it was your birthday?
Yeah, and that's what kept getting thrown up in my face. This is your birthday. I'm doing this for you. All of this was organized and planned for you. I would just want to make you have a good time. And that following Sunday morning after there was the argument, we were kind of grumbly with each other. We went into the little town. We had some breakfast and we went to this farmer's market. And I remember one time you said something and it stung me forever. You said, if it wasn't for me, nothing would ever get done. Meaning like no plans, no adventures, nothing. Well, having 4 kids under the age of 9, that's a lot, and the business we owned. But I felt like you had to escape something, whether it was escape through drinking or escape through busyness. There was no contentment and no joy in just finding relaxation and peace and quiet.
And for a long time, I'll tell you what else there was none of. There was no me listening to that and understanding what you were saying. Mm-hmm. Resentment processing isn't easy. It takes a long time. And if you don't have a partner who can sit there patiently and listen, as Sheri expressed her true emotional feelings, you're not alone. It's not easy on either side. It's not easy to be as vulnerable and honest as Sheri was, especially when you've been gaslit and you've had your things that you have to say deflected and you've heard denials. It's also not easy to sit and listen to how you have ruined so many episodes and so many experiences for your partner, even when, like in this case, I had the best of intentions, just terrible tactics, and I let alcohol get way in the way of having any ability to listen. Mm-hmm. Not easy. Thanks for going through that with me, Sheri. If you'd like to hear more of our opinionated ramblings, please check out the Untoxicated podcast.
And if you're more of the reading type, please go to soberandunashamed.com.
If you're picking up what we're laying down, you might be ready to find your tribe. Please check out echoesofrecovery.org or shoutsobriety.org. We get what you're going through. You've got this, and we've got you.